Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to mix skin tone colors. This video was really requested on my other painting videos, so I hope you guys enjoy. In this video I'm going to give you guys some tips on how I mix these array of colors. This is the brand of acrylic paint I got. I used the primary colors red, yellow, and blue, and I added purple and orange, and of course black and white. First, you're going to start off by making brown. In order to make brown, you're going to need the primary colors red, yellow, and blue. Before we get started, I'm going to define some really important terms when mixing skin tones. You're going to need to know the difference between cool tones and warm tones. Warm tones are really warm colors such as red, yellow, and orange. And cool colors are colors that are more on the cool side of the color wheel, which include blue, green, and purple. Keeping this in mind, you're going to use that information when mixing skin tones. Let's go back to the brown that we're mixing right now, which involve the primary colors red, yellow, and blue. If your skin tones in the reference picture that you're using or whatever you're trying to paint is more on the cool tones, you're going to add that purple or blue. But if your skin tones in your reference picture are more on the warm tone, you're going to add the colors red, yellow, or orange into the colors that you're mixing for that brown. As you can tell here, I was happy with my brown color, so I got a little portion of it and I moved it off to the side to start a new brown color, which is going to be lighter, and we're going to go down with this trend. So here you can see me add more red because I want it to be more on the warm tone side. So as you can see, it's more warm and reddish compared to the one beside it. And I'm going to keep adding red because I want it to be more warm. Yeah, this color is definitely more warm, so I'm okay with this color, but if you did want to make it more cool, you would add the blue. Now, as for the purple and the orange on my color palette, those are really there just for a little bit of vibrancy when the primary colors aren't enough. So I would use the purple and the orange for a little more pop of color or more vibrancy when I'm mixing my warm or cool tones. I'm gonna add maybe a little purple to make it more cooler. And if this is too light for you, you'd add the primary colors all over again and try to darken it up. As you can see, once I'm satisfied with the color, I grab a little bit of it and I move it down. And the more you move down, the more white you're gonna add because the lighter it's gonna get, but you still need to follow that little rule or that little trick of adding red and orange and yellow if it's more warm toned, and add blue or purple or any cool color if you want it to be more on the cool side. Okay, so with a problem like this, if it's too cool, just add a little orange, a little red, or a little yellow depending on what your reference picture looks like. I want to make this a lot warmer, so I'm gonna put red in it. Now that's too red for me. So, like I do, I'm gonna add some blue or purple to make it more cool. So what I just did there kind of shows what I was trying to explain. If you want it to be more warm, you add those warm colors. If you want it to be cool, you add those cool colors. And as you go down the palette for it to be more lighter skin tones, you're going to add the white, but you're still going to follow that trend of those primary colors. And for some people, this really peachy color isn't ideal. Maybe some people are more red, so if your reference picture is more red, you would add a little red in there, maybe to liven up their skin. You'd add a little red to make their cheeks more rosy. So now it's like this really nice rosy peachy color. You just keep going with that pattern. So honestly, you could survive with the primary colors and white and black. And you don't really need the purple and the orange, to be honest. It's just kind of there to, if you wanted to brighten up some of your skin tones more. Some skin tones are more yellow, so I could add more yellow. So honestly, skin mixing, it all depends on the type of picture you are mixing this for. And here you can see I added a little bit too much blue, so this is why it's important to know your color wheel, because the opposite of blue is orange. So here you can see me add a little bit orange because blue and orange are opposites, so they kind of make a neutral color. So here that blue really toned down because of that orange I added, because they're really opposite. For really more darker skin tones, you could add that black, but I didn't want to add that black first because if I add black, it's harder to make these lighter. So now for your darker skin tones, you can add that black. Now I'm going to paint out all the skin tones we did on a sheet of paper. Right now, I'm starting another row on my color palette for the more darker tones, but the process is exactly the same. You're going to start off with your primary colors to make that brown, and you're going to add more warm tones to make it more warm, and you're going to add those cool tones to make it go cool. The process is exactly the same. The only difference is you're going to add more black to this, and it all depends on your reference picture, depending on if it's more on the cool or warm side. Kind of like greenish, right? So the opposite of green is red. So I'm gonna add red now until I get back to my desired brown color. So it's exactly the same, and you just continue with that pattern. And like I said before, if you kind of wanted a more darker tone, you just add a little bit of black, or depending how much black you want. So I'm gonna add a shade that's even darker. Add some black to it. The paper kind of absorbs it. As you can tell, this is a way more like dark brown, and this one basically just looks black. So I'll put it in a light where you can really see the difference. Those are all the tones that we did. Okay, so I'm gonna do an example. Let's say someone's out in the sun and just enjoying the sun. So you're gonna make it more warm toned. But if you're in the shade, you want to have it more cool toned, and the shade is more cool. So depending on your reference picture, it might look like this. You're going to have a more cool toned skin tone. For example, this girl, she's under the shade. This is way more cool than when the sun's hitting her. Basically, a little summary is that you only really need your primary colors when you're mixing skin tones, and that orange or purple is just a little dab of vibrancy if you need it. Same thing with darker skin tones and lighter skin tones. You're going to keep adding. If you want a warmer skin tone, you're going to add yellow, orange, or red. And if you want a more cool skin tone, you're going to add that purple or blue. And the white if you need it lighter, and black if you just need a little darker. My suggestion when doing skin tones is to keep practicing and really recognize what colors are in your picture and what you want to paint. This is the way how I paint skin tones. So everyone is different, but I really like this way of mixing skin tones. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!